So, the urinary system, you know, just think, the body is just, every body system has a specific purpose. And it's just meant to protect us, right? The key word is homeostasis. Just think, if you have a boo-boo or something enters your tissue fluid, you have your lymphatic system. It filters. So the lymphatic system contains lymph nodes that filters out, hopefully, your maybe germs, antigens, right? That enters the body, okay? Then you have your respiratory system, a series of tubes again, right? And what it does, it tries to prevent your foreign substances from entering your cardiovascular, right? Because your lungs, your respiratory system, right? Your lungs, this is your pulmonary capillaries, and then there's your alveolus. So your respiratory system has to filter so that what will enter your cardiovascular, this is your blood, will just be really oxygen, right? Then your lymphatics, if there's boo-boo, this is you. If there's any boo-boo, there's your lymphatics, the lymph nodes, that tries to filter. Don't forget your spleen also filters, right? So that's their job. Now, as you do these things, as you try to survive, you're trying to protect yourself, you're trying to think, you're trying to move, you're generating waste products, number one. Number two, there will be substances that we can't help it. We end up absorbing it. It's in our circulation, right? We're going to go crazy if we think about every single thing that they always publish. So it's a new finding. This is toxic to you. This is, but you know what? The good news is, as long as you're healthy, it's an automatic thing. I hope you understand now that the body is amazing. If it especially your lymphatic system, if it sees something that is not yours, that's not, it doesn't bear your ID, it will do everything to neutralize it, and then what? Send it to your kidneys. Like you drink beer or whatever, right? And alcohol, we take our medication. We always, we think, okay, well, I'm having a good time, all that stuff, but your body, it's just an automatic thing. It will do everything to try to correct the problem and prevent your own cells to be harmed. Think your drugs, the medications that we take, right? That's why, if you know some people who take cholesterol lowering drugs, don't they go for liver function tests every once in a while, right? So it's an automatic thing. We can't, it's beyond our control. We should be thankful because it's automatic. So you know that the liver and the kidneys are really partners. The liver tries to neutralize anything that has entered us. So you know that your lymphatic prevents it from entering, right? But once it has become part of us, we rely on your liver and your kidneys to get rid of it. So the liver will neutralize it, we know that, but the kidney is the key. How you want to get it out of your system, right? If you have anything that's harmful, like you have a bug that landed on you and it looks scary, what do? Don't you just do the happy dance and you just say, you're scared, right? Get it out, and that's what your kidneys do for you. Anything that entered you, so your liver will do everything to neutralize it and then send it to the kidney. The kidney, all the kidney does is get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. So we're going to this chapter talks about how does the kidney do that. Number one, so the kidney gets rid of whatever that's not yours, foreign substances, and also your waste, right? We always have what you call metabolic waste products. Metabolic waste products. We just finished nutrition, right? When we digest our, see, when we metabolize our carbohydrates, our sugar, look at the waste products. Remember, What is the final breakdown products? Carbon dioxide plus water, right? Plus ATP and heat,
Heat.
right? These are the four and this carbon dioxide and water is all you will see with your ca carbs and your fats. So really, there's not too much here. The only problem is you may go into ketosis, but if you send it to the Krebs cycle, this is what you get. This is the problem with protein metabolism. So people who do the protein bars, high protein diet, this you need to explain to them. Look at the metabolism. When you finally break it down, look at the breakdown products. Isn't this easy to get rid of? No problem, right? Right? Water, you just pee it out. Is water harmful? Well, if it's too much, right? But as far as the kidney is concerned, as long as you have healthy kidneys, I don't think there will be a problem for water to pass through your tubules. Carbon dioxide, you just breathe it out. This is the problem. You see urea, uric acid, they all come from protein metabolism. You don't see, remember the thing here is your ammonia, right? That amino group. Because we're humans, we have no capacity to digest the amino part of your amino acids. We can't. If you're a bacteria, maybe you can, but we're not, okay? So that is the job of your urinary system. So you see, this is very easy to understand, right? Regulation, maintenance, it excretes waste products and foreign substances like your drugs or toxins. You ever, you, like when you drink coffee sometimes and then you go to the bathroom, doesn't your pee-pee sometimes smell of coffee, right? Or you took your medication and then your pee-pee is dark. You say, oh, you took your vitamins today, didn't you? And so that's what your kidney does. It also helps to regulate your sugar level, your blood glucose level, okay? If there's too much, it can obviously spill in the urine. But we're going to talk about the abnormality. Anytime that there's glucose present in the body, that's not normal. Not in the body, in your pee. That's not normal. We're going to talk about normal and abnormal urinalysis results. Another very important function of your kidneys or your renal system is it's the site for these two hormones. Don't forget this. Calcitriol, which is for, you remember we studied way back in your integumentary system, I said the sun is the key for conversion of cholesterol to vitamin C. But the story is not complete. Now we're going to complete that story. That vitamin, did I say vitamin C?
Yes.
Sorry, vitamin D. Cholesterol is converted to vitamin D by exposure to the sun, right? So the cholesterol right here, you convert it to vitamin D. Now the other half of the story is that it's called cholecalciferol, and that's still the inactive form of vitamin D. It's D3. That will be going to your kidneys where it's converted to vitamin D3, calcitriol. So that is the active form of vitamin D. Then it goes to your GI and it helps in the absorption of calcium. Look at the other hormone produced by your kidneys. Erythropoietin, which is for,
Red blood cells.
yes, red blood cell maturation. So do you agree? People with renal failure or renal problems, they can be anemic, right? Because their kidneys are failing, and that's the one that's supposed to make your erythropoietin. In other words, your kidneys have chemoreceptors for oxygen levels. And every time your oxygen is down, this is the one that makes erythropoietin to go to your bone marrow so it can make more red blood cells. Do you understand? Okay? Okay. So let's look at this one is just showing you how you detoxify the breakdown products of amino acids. Just remember that amino group. This is the culprit. That amino group Maybe when we become superhumans, but God didn't make us to be able to process this amino, the ammonia. This ammonia compound has to be detoxified. I wonder why that word detoxification is there. It's because ammonia is toxic. And don't forget that all your organs, they can be very busy. You can overload your liver, you can overload your kidneys. So if you eat too much proteins, or if we rely too much on protein metabolism, we can go into ammonia overload. They have to wait for their turn. When the liver is ready, then they can process additional ammonia. Okay? So before we move on, we want to look at the kidney. Where is it located? The kidney is referred to as an organ. By the way, we talk about the urinary system, and the urinary system is really made up of these organs, your kidneys. You have your ureter, you see the yellow structure there, and then you have the bladder, and then your urethra. So those are the organs of the urinary system. But when we talk about function, it's always talking about the kidney. So really the function of the urinary system, all those functions that we just mentioned, the filtering, the detoxification, excretion, is carried out by your kidneys. This one, the ureter, the bladder. So the ureter, the job of the ureter is just to move your waste from here to here. And then the bladder is just temporary storage until you're ready to get rid of it. The urethra is the organ that helps you get rid of your waste out to the Puget Sound. Okay? So that's it. But which organ here carries out the main functions? This one. Okay? I remember in the test I will ask you, the bladder concentrates urine, the bladder dilutes urine. No. So you PP, a concentrated PP or dilute PP, those are all because your kidney is working for you, not this one. Don't forget that in your test, okay? So one thing you will notice about the kidneys is it's one of those organs that is retroperitoneal. Your duodenum is the same, but this is very distinct. The kidney, meaning it does not have the protection of your peritoneum. You remember the apron, the mesentery, those are part of your peritoneum. So it's not enclosed in a sac, it's outside. Okay? And so it's right here in your back, right here, right here. It's against the, right there. See, it's against the back wall. So it's outside of the peritoneal cavity. There's no protection, okay? This is why, you know that with contact sports, right? They say it's a no-no to, that's a foul, isn't it? If they do, what do you call that? What, kidney punch? Whatever that's a foul. And the reason is, really, it's very, very easy to dislodge that. It's called nephrotosis. If you see this word ptosis, ptosis always means hanging down. And because the kidney is just, look at, it's retroperitoneal, number one. And number two, it's really just basically glued. Weren't you, now you try to when you open up your kidneys, did you see how it's outside, right? Mm-hmm. You had to take out the fascia. It was outside of your abdominal cavity. I hope you remember that. And then once you take out that fascia, try to pry it out of its attachment to the back wall. It won't be hard. It's easy to pull it out, okay? There's just a fine ligament that it's like a paste, but it's not even a good paste. So it's very, very easy to have this dislodged. Now, when it gets dislodged, okay, look at this one. Here, I'm gonna use this one. When it gets dislodged, you see this one It makes pee-pee, we know that, right? And do you understand by gravity, it helps to move the urine from here to here. And you see how the pelvis, the first part of the ureter is curved. You see that one? Okay. When it dislodges, called nephrotosis, when it gets knocked down, don't you think that there will be an acute kinking? There will be a kinking like this, right? Instead of the nice, smooth curve like that. If it kinks, because the kidney now fell down, do you predict something? Something bad that can happen? What do you think? Huh? Yes, don't you think so? It's going to be very hard for the urine that you formed here, right, to be delivered out. So what will happen? You're trying to get rid of waste. You may end up, it may start settling there, right? That's what we're going to do with the pee-pee, right? We let it sit and it will settle. Not now. But when you hold your pee-pee, you're going to see it will settle. And that's the same thing that will happen here. That's why it's a foul. And it's very, very easy to happen. When it settles, you're going to have kidney stones. And then you're going to go into renal failure, which is not a good thing. Okay? Okay. So, because it is so prone to being injured that way, we still can't help it, right? Sometimes you want to, um, you haven't seen your friend in a long, long time, and you say, "Oh, I haven't seen you in a long time," and you say, "I'm so happy to see you. Oh, good job." And you keep on saying, "I'm so happy to see." Oh, you keep doing that, and because it's in the back, there must be something to protect it. You see this adipose capsule? I hope you realize now that every organ in the body is covered by fat, a layer of fat. For one thing, fat insulates. And you should know, we just studied the function of every organ in the body, but you should know that every organ in the body needs that optimum temperature so that they can do their job. Whether it's cold or very hot, the temperature there should be normal. And that's what the fat does. In addition, in the kidneys, it's very important. It's a shock absorber, so that any trauma that it's exposed to, it's not going to be affected as much. It's that shock from the trauma is absorbed by the fat. By the time it gets to the kidneys, it's still safe. Okay. Look at this organ on top called the adrenals. Don't forget the adrenals. Okay. 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 And then in addition, you have a capsule. See? It's like your meninges, right? That they protect your kidneys. So you have to cut that. Okay. What you need to know now, the next thing we need to know is that the kidney is linked with your cardiovascular system. This is my other take home for you. I want you now to do your drawing. Your drawing linking your cardiovascular system with the digestive system, with the respiratory system, and the renal system. Okay? So so you have two homeworks to give to me on Monday. Just a drawing. So you're gonna draw like this, right? So you have your right atrium, and then you have your, so this is pulmonary veins going to the lungs. So you're gonna write, pick up oxygen, right? Unload carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide you breathe off. And this one, so this is the superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and then the right ventricle. So then the right ventricle will go to your lungs. This is your pulmonary artery going to the lungs. So something like this, okay? And then this inferior vena cava is picking up your nutrient-rich but carbon dioxide, low, but carbon dioxide-rich blood going to the right atrium. So this This you link your GI. Of course, not the word GI, okay? You're going to start stomach, then you have your small intestines, right? This is mainly from your mesenteric arteries, sorry, capillaries. Oh, don't forget the three. Arteries, capillaries, okay, so here you're going to write your pulmonary capillaries first, and then here your mesenteric capillaries. This is where you pick up your nutrients. It's nutrient rich but carbon dioxide rich, and maybe there's toxins, so you make a stop at the liver. This is my way of trying to find out whether you're grasping it or not. So you already linked your GI, respiratory with cardiovascular, and then you also link your renal system. Okay? So then in the left ventricle you have your aorta. So this one is carrying, of course, your nutrient rich, but you also have your waste here, your metabolic waste products, urea, uric acid, all those metabolic waste products. See, from the liver, see, look at the liver has detoxified it, going to go here, going to go to the lungs, then going to go to the left, then going to go to the kidneys. The kidneys like your GP loop, right? Then go to your kidneys, renal, and we're going to talk about the blood supply here, and then you pee it out. Okay? So on the side, maybe you can write, you tell me what's going on, or if you want, you can write down just bullets. Maybe you say, carbon dioxide out, just arrows, whatever you want. But that's my way of trying to find out if you really are understanding the connection between all your body systems. Okay? Of course, if we want to go further, you can add your bio 241 knowledge here. But that's, never mind. You have your muscles, you have your bones, you have your nervous system. But this is a good way of trying to find out whether you understood or not. Okay? Just a little drawing like this. You got it, everybody? You just want to put arrows if you want arrows. It's just one sheet of paper should be good. So you have two homeworks that you're going to give to me. This one, this drawing, and your GI worksheet on Monday. Okay? So, think of the kidneys. We're going to make a higher magnification view of your kidneys. You see these yellow structures. That's your kidneys. This red and blue, of course, is your cardiovascular system. So the first thing that you need to understand is that the kidneys is nothing but like your GP loop. So this is the stop where you try to get rid of waste, metabolic waste that's in here. Just think about the waste products that you constantly build up. I know that I have carbon dioxide as a waste product. How do you get rid of carbon dioxide? Breathing. That's it, right? Is there any other waste product that your respiratory, your lungs can get rid for you? None. Only carbon dioxide, right? What about all the other waste products? I know my sweat, I can get rid of urea that way, just a little bit. But what about all the other waste products? That's the job of your kidneys. So this red and blue, that's not kidneys. The red and blue is cardiovascular system. The red and blue is showing me how my waste products ended up in my kidneys. The kidneys are it's an organ made up of tubes. That's it, pipes. When they're smaller, you call them tubules. Like arteries, arterioles. So tubes, pipes, then they get smaller, they're called tubules. Are you following so far? Okay, so picture in your head that first let's look at the blood, how it gets to the kidneys. And then we're going to look at the kidneys. Okay? How does the blood get to the kidneys? So we're going to trace, right, from the heart going to the kidneys. It must be the artery. So we'll pick up from the artery, right? From your left ventricle, the aorta, right? Then the descending aorta. And then the first branch, remember, the renal artery, which goes to the kidneys. So this one is carrying your waste. This is dirty blood, isn't it? I'm going to write dirty blood. This is dirty blood. You follow? It contains the waste that I need to throw out, get rid of my body. Okay? And the arteries will just become smaller and smaller, because can there be exchange going on in arteries? No, right? Where does exchange happens in your
Capillaries.
very good capillaries. So we have these arteries have to branch into smaller and smaller capillaries first. Okay, so look at this one. See, from the renal artery, then it becomes segmental arteries. See, interlobal, then arcuate like an arc, until, look at this one, it gets to this three. Very important for you to know these three. So the smallest one is called arteriole, and then it branches into the glomerulus, which is nothing but capillaries. So when you see the word glomerulus, you know it's referring to capillaries in your kidneys. Capillaries are the only ones that have openings, right? That have pores to let substances in and out, right? So that's how the substances are able to leave my circulation. And there, whatever leaves my circulation, I'm looking at it here. So the glomerular capillaries may be somewhere here, the smallest one. Whatever leaves, there it is, there it is. Are you following? So we trace from renal artery all the way down. Now we get to the afferent arteriole, which is this one. You follow, you see the arrow? Then it goes, so this is the dirty blood going to these capillaries. The capillaries are called glomerulus. So the capillaries have pores, right? Openings. That's how your waste is able to leave your body. Okay? So they land here. What's this yellow structures? That's your kidneys. See? These are your tubules. So there's a problem. Okay? Do you remember? So first, we're going to write down something here again. In your blood, the blood is made up of your plasma, right? And then your red blood cells, your white blood cells, and your platelets. Okay? And in the plasma, this is where you'll find your albumin, right? Your globulin, your fibrinogen. Okay? And then all your nutrients, right? Your glucose, your amino acids, your free fatty acids, okay? Then everything is in the plasma, plus your waste and your toxic substances. Okay? If you think about what I told you, remember I told you what leaves your capillaries are everything except for this albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, RBC, white blood cells, and platelets. Do you remember that? Right? So think about the kidneys as the same thing. Think about the kidneys as being part of your interstitial space. So all the nutrients that you just ate, remember? Do you remember we were drawing here that the kidney, the renal artery, is actually carrying nutrient-rich blood. You picked it up from your GI, right? But it also contains waste. So this is telling me, are you agree? This is telling me once this nutrient, the nutrient-rich blood enters here, all of the nutrients that I just ate will end up here. Do you follow? Remember what we discussed with your blood vessels. Remember, I said as far as the circulation is concerned, everything leaves your capillaries except for this, your albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, and this. So everything else, everything is able to leave your capillaries. And that holds true for any capillary in any part of the body. And this is one of them. Okay? Are you following? You understand that sentence? Okay? So it means that all of my nutrients, in addition to the waste that I want to get rid of, all of this, the vitamins that I just took, they end up in my tubules. And where is this going to go? It's going to go to the Puget Sound when I pee it out. So that's a problem. Do you agree? Do you follow, everybody? Don't forget that fact or the law or the rule about your blood vessels. Everything is able to escape or leave your capillaries except for albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, RBC, white blood cells, and platelets. So these nutrients are here. After they pass through the afferent arterioles, these are capillaries. So I have what's in my tubules. I have my waste, yes, but I also have the nutrients that I didn't mean to throw away. Are you following? Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's why the blood supply, the circulation in your kidneys, is a modified version of your portal circulation. Look at. So you would think, right, normally it's artery, capillary, then vein, go back to the heart, right? That's the normal flow. Look at with your kidneys. It's afferent arteriole, then you have the capillary, which is your glomerulus, and then another set of arteriole, which will branch into another capillary, right? It's artery, capillary, vein, back to that. But this one is artery, capillary, then another artery, capillary, before vein. So there's your afferent arteriole. Then there's your glomerulus, where everything was filtered out. But then I didn't mean to throw out my nutrients. I want it. My cells, my body needs that. So I have to recapture that. So look at, that's why from artery to capillary, you have to have another set of arterioles so that it can branch into another set of capillaries here. These capillaries are called peritubular capillaries, surrounding your tubules. Peritubular capillaries. They're surrounding your tubules. Remember, capillaries have pores. So that way, look at what's in here in my tubules are, yes, my waste, but I also have my precious nutrients there. I'm going to recapture them. So my nutrients will be recaptured and they end up back here. They will enter the peritubular capillaries, and we trace this. You have your vein, see? And eventually it will become renal vein right here. So what will be in your renal vein is clean blood plus the nutrients. You recaptured it. Are you following, everybody? We're going to make it into a bigger. So now we're going to look at it using this one. This one right here. Okay? One more time. Again, we're going to draw again our heart. I shouldn't have. So we know from the left ventricle. So here in the right, you picked up from your GI tract, right? You're going to return nutrient-rich blood. So nutrient-rich blood. So nutrient-rich blood. But it's also got waste. And it's going to enter my right atrium. Then from right atrium to right ventricle. Then the one of the waste is carbon dioxide. It will go to the lungs, so you can get rid of that waste. So you get rid of your carbon dioxide, but that's the only waste that you get rid in your lungs. Then this goes to the left atrium. It's now oxygenated, but it still contains waste. And then from here, the left ventricle, the aorta, this is the aorta, the first stop. You're going to go to your kidneys, your renal artery, and then there's your kidneys. See, in the kidneys, and we pick up the renal artery here, see? And you have your afferent arteriole, and then there's your capillaries, your glomerulus. So what will jump into here is everything except the RBC. Remember the RBC, the WBC, the platelets, the albumin, globulin, and fibrinogen. These are the ones that should never be present in your anywhere else except your blood vessels. They should always only be, unless you have something wrong, right? Unless you're sick. So that means you burst open the capillaries wide enough for them to escape, but normally they keep flowing. Okay? So what ended up here in my tubules was all my, yes, my waste, yes, but all my nutrients that I just picked up from my GI. I just picked it up, so they end up here. My nutrients, my vitamins, everything, my glucose, the food that I just ate, it ended up in these yellow tubules. Okay? So I need to bring them back into my cardiovascular circulation. I do want to get rid of the waste. I want to get rid of this one. So that's why, see, afferent arteriole, then capillaries, your glomerulus, then another set of arterioles. This is called your efferent. Afferent, efferent. Like your afferent vessels and the efferent vessels in your lymph nodes, right? So this is your efferent arterioles, and then it breaks into another set of capillaries, peritubular capillaries. What's going on in these peritubular capillaries? This is how these nutrients are able to jump back into your circulation, end up in your renal vein to go back to your circulation. Do you follow? So what will jump back into these peritubular capillaries? My amino acids, my glucose, free fatty acids, your vitamins, your electrolytes, you bring them back. What gets locked up in these tubules of your kidneys is your waste. So that's why, I think that's why God made our kidneys to have a long series of coils or tubules, to give us a chance to recapture everything we didn't mean to throw out. So what ends up right here? Look at, finally, these tubules will finally end up into one collecting duct. It collects all of it. And this will finally end into your renal pelvis. Renal pelvis, right here. This one right here. So in this pelvis is where you finally have urine. Are you following? That's just an overview so far. So the part of the kidney plus your cardiovascular system They're team, right? They work together. This one right here. This is referred to not the cardiovascular, but this series of coiled structures. The kidney is made up of nothing but millions of this one. One kidney has 1 million. This is what you call nephron. Nephron. Do you agree that if you have injured kidneys, how can you get rid of waste products? Is there a way to get rid of waste products? And you know that, does it make sense? Because it's your kidney, it's the job of your kidneys that gets rid of these waste products. It's the one that can be easily affected also by all of these toxics. It's the one that's processing these toxic substances. So they are also, they can be damaged over time. This is why when we take too much aspirin has a direct link with nephrotoxicity, right? A lot of people who are addicted to the painkillers, eventually they're going to have kidney stones or renal failure, okay? This is so sensitive to toxic substances that we put in there. And always remember that, do you remember I told you that story of, and it's not a, it's a true story about the tiny village in Romania. Remember I told you that one? And they linked it, and that's why, you remember? So this, there was a typical herb like this. It just grows in Romania, and they used to make this into tea. They would make that into tea because it was, yeah, it was normal there. They didn't even think that it affected their kidneys. The whole village in that Romania, every single one of them died. Why? It was toxic to the kidneys. So you see, I hope you understand that if we don't take care of our kidneys, there's no way. Is there? Can you think about any other part of the body that can get rid of whatever has ended up in your blood? There's nothing else. It's just your kidneys. People think, that's why I laugh at the word detoxification diet. There's no such thing as well, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think in my mind, I can't figure out where they, what is a detox diet? You can't detoxify through your GI. Whatever has entered your blood, the only way to get rid of it is right here in your kidneys. And if that's why, if your kidneys fail, what do? You have to go to dialysis now. The, that's the only way. You can't get rid of anything, any waste that's in your blood. Okay? So we're going to look at the different steps of the formation of urine. Now, do you understand this quick summary? Do you understand? For now, we're going to go into more detail next. The key is always remembering what should always stay in your cardiovascular system. The albumin is very important to suck. You look at. So if you think about this one, right? So your waste and your nutrients ended up in your tubes right here. The nutrients are here, but what keeps flowing is your albumin. Remember that albumin? What is the job of albumin? Isn't it the one that